Two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Write it down. You like writing things down. Write this down.
Write that down.
Write this down.
Here we go. The OG edition of Write That Down, Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd. Score North YouTube channel. This show goes back, or this segment goes back like 10 years. We have statistics going back to 2018. The season runs from Super Bowl to Super Bowl, and we are the only show, this and Purple Daily, that actually puts statistics next to our predictions. So when you say something dumb or wildly incorrect, it doesn't just float out into the content abyss. It comes back to bite you right in the ass on this show here, boys. Let's get right to the accountabilities here. Here's how it works. The show is 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of batting averages and home runs. And listeners, if you want to participate, like Sam is about to, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app, and we will try to get you scheduled for some time in the coming weeks. Are you guys ready to be held accountable?
Yep.
Starting with Judd.
Let's do it.
So a lot of red.
Tough year for me
this week.
Some years are good, some years aren't. Tough year.
You can correct the hockey whisperer here if he's wrong on any of these, but let's start with a baseball one. You said the Padres would win the World Series. You said J.E.E. would score the first goal of the season for the Wild.
Oh, heck.
Wasn't Boldy? Boldy's
yes. Fantastic no-look shot. And last night we got a goalie goal. First in
power
Wild
play
history.
goalie goal. Just the third in history, right?
Unbelievable, yeah.
Love a goalie goal.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep.
You said the Wild's first line to start the season would be Zuccarello, Kaprizov, Hartman. Now, Hartman, from what I've seen, has been a third liner, right?
They didn't demote. They changed the lines late in camp, and I welcome the red in this one. I was glad with the move, so I'm glad I was wrong.
Okay. You said the Blue Jackets would beat the Wild in the season opener.
That didn't work out.
The classic Judd hatch here.
And you said Liam, you had these 2 predictions are, you said Liam Ogren would be on the opening night roster and active opening night.
He should have been. So I prefer if you would change that because he should have been active. He wasn't.
But prior to that, several weeks prior, you said Liam Ogren would make the opening night roster.
Good.
But you didn't
I'm glad I got
include
one
the
right.
active part. So
that's a bad week. Let's move on. That's a bad week. Don't show the bosses this. I'm supposed to know hockey.
Old Macadac. I said, now I could fight this. I don't know, because they're going to hire multiple hitting coaches, but I said the Twins' next hitting coach, which technically, like semantically, the next hitting coach was the one they just hired,
right,
would have at least 1 major league plate appearance. He does not.
Did I see? Speaking of that the Braves blew out Kevin Seitzer like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kind of weird.
Loved Kevin Seitzer as a Royal.
He's a classic, like mid-50s.
Yeah.
Played 10 years in the bigs. They just blew him out.
See you later, Kevin.
And then I made a really random baseball prediction 2 years ago. Told you the San Francisco Giants would play in the World Series in 2023 or 2024.
I think that's when you were on the
Farhan Zaidi.
Farhan was doing a good job there, and now he's been fired. So
I love how Farhan has like 2 sort of disappointing years. One of the great front office people in all of baseball, and they just blew him out. Because
who does that?
They have standards.
Whoa! All right.
Listeners, Josh said the Twins would win the World Series in 2024.
Sounded good.
And then Declan, a bad week for all of us, pretty much.
Wow.
You said Luka Garza would drop at least 20 points in Iowa during that preseason game that you were at on Friday. He had 14 points. You said the Wild would post a shutout in their opener against the Blue Jackets. And, I mean, I guess there's probably still like a week or 2 left. You said the Twins ownership would acknowledge the season being a failure in some form within 1 month of the season ending. And we decided to leave it on the board, but then they announced they were going to sell it. If, for some reason, someone from Twins ownership does a public interview in the next 2 weeks, calling the season a failure, we'll give this to you.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
So with that, I still have a pretty commanding batting average lead. 364, Declan at 330, listeners at 326, Judd back below 300 at 298. Listeners with 11 bombs on the season, Judd with 10, I have 9, Declan with 8. All-time career stats going back about 6 years. Declan, 356 average leads everyone. Judd with 344 career hits. Listeners with 66 home runs lead that category. So there's your accountability session. Let's get guest listener Sam in the mix here. Rocking the sweet Timberwolves hooded sweatshirt. What's going on, Sam?
Unmute myself there. Hey guys, how's it going?
Judd-like of you.
Thanks, Judd.
Very Judd-like of you. Very nice. I like how you started.
Just like my sports dad. What can I say?
Exactly. I like it.
Yes, takes after the sports dad. So yeah, when did you become a Minnesota sports fan? Give us your backstory.
Started back in like the 90s. I started to get really into basketball. Both of my parents played when they were growing up, and so I just kind of followed suit. My uncle owned not preseason, but season tickets to the Wolves, and so he would start taking me back in the Gugliotta days. Tom was my first favorite player, and then quickly became KG, and KG remains to this day my favorite athlete ever. And then with the Vikings, it was a little bit more of a rocky road getting there. When I first started to pay attention, the Packers won a Super Bowl, and I had cheeseheads in the family, so I kind of just followed that for a second. But then during recess, I would play wide receiver all the time, and there's a certain man by the name of Chris Carter who played for the Vikings, and I started to become a fan. The 98 season happened, and I've been hooked ever since, crying purple tears.
I feel like every kid in the 90s would be out in the backyard, and you'd have like a sideline of some kind, whether it was like a shrub line or whether it was a sidewalk, and you'd do the Chris Carter, have your friends or your parents or your siblings like throw passes with your arms extended, trying to keep your feet in bounds.
Yeah, literally did that in a mulch patch with my next door neighbor who was the same age as me. We would just catches.
Is there anything more magical than grade school recess football?
Oh,
I still remember I remember plays.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh yeah.
I remember vivid, like there are core memories that exist that I remember from recess football.
It's the weirdest thing because it's like it's the most arbitrary thing, and I'd go outside and it would be cold out. And
this time of year, right here, man.
Yeah,
Get out there.
And I would
leaves.
I had this great Vikings old school jacket, like the school jacket, but it was the Vikings. And I remember we'd start playing. I'd take it off. It'd be really cold, and I'd take off the jacket, just start unleashing passes. I don't know why I remember it, but I do.
Remember the video of Andy Reid in the pass with all the other little.
Oh yeah, no,
that was Judd.
I was the biggest kid.
With like his shoulders kind of slumped.
Punt,
twice as big as every other kid. Here
Punt,
he comes.
Pass, and kick.
Judge
I wasn't twice as big, but I was
second graders.
But I mean, I would. So right before the bell, we would have to go inside clearly to go back to class. And so our last play would traditionally be everyone go in a corner of the end zone, and I would, or the QB would toss up a pass, right? And it would get tipped around, and it might get caught or not. So my buddy and I designed a play where I would motion him out of that. So they'd all be grouped. He would break free, and I would throw a laser for a touchdown, and the rest of the kids would be all pissed off.
Wow. So you found a way to like innovate the Hail Mary, basically.
I changed it.
I've always wondered why don't teams try that? Where okay, let's have everyone run to a corner and then have one guy like break out and run something across the field. We should be giving these ideas to Kevin O'Connell.
St. Therese Deep Haven, 1979. That was done.
Yeah, I think we should be passing these ideas along. So, all right, Sam, we're going to start with you. We'll make 3 trips around the room here. The predictions must be quantifiable. Those are pretty much the only rules.
Write this down.
So, fire away.
Okay, sounds good. And just FYI, I am looking for home runs today. So I will need probably some confirmation from the committee that these are indeed home runs.
Okay.
But my first prediction, this is for the season opener for the Wolves on Tuesday. And thank you, Dex, for getting me in today. This is obviously our last time before the Wolves actually kick off the season because they get to tip off on opening night, which is pretty cool. But my first prediction, write this down. The Wolves win. The Lakers hold a second half lead at any point, and LeBron and Bronny share the court together for any amount of time.
Bronny is
It's going to happen.
awful.
Right.
He's
Doesn't
bad.
matter.
Shams on Get Up last week told Greeny that it's really likely that it'll be opening night. Plus, G League doesn't start until the 8th of November, so he'll be around. He's on a two-way contract, I believe. So I'm pretty sure he'll play.
So they're literally just going to – he is not qualified to be an NBA player. Doesn't he have one of the worst plus minuses in the preseason too? Just like his presence on the court, even in the preseason, was a disaster.
Yeah.
But we're going to ceremony. You know what? I mean, the Wolves should welcome it because if they run him out there for 5 minutes, they should dominate those 5 minutes. And if the Lakers want to do a big ceremony just to appease LeBron and give the Wolves a 10-2 run, awesome. Sounds good. Super weird.
I actually feel bad for Bronny. Like,
Yeah,
it's not,
just
it's not
send
fair
him,
to him.
send him to the G League, and they will, and let him earn his way up to the NBA like everybody
Write
else
this
would.
down.
If he was allowed to be a normal kid/player, he wouldn't have left college.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, yeah.
There was nothing about his game that screamed declare for the draft. Nothing.
And I get that, like,
all his old
he
man.
had, the heart thing was terrifying, and
Write this down.
But
Anyways.
yeah, I mean, he might have quit basketball if he was an ordinary kid. Write this down. The sale of the Twins will be announced by opening day of the season.
Whoa.
The sale of the Twins will be announced.
Are you reporting here?
No, I don't have insight. But here's my thought, because I spend a lot of time searching for like trades for the Vikings and just pondering life, which means sports. My thought is this: the Twins have quietly probably retained this firm to search for an owner well before the sale prospects were brought up. Like, I don't buy that they called the firm the morning of and that afternoon said, or that, a couple of hours after that said, hey, we're going to sell
So
the
you
team.
think they've been working with this firm for potentially months?
Yes. I think they've been working with the firm for as long as they said that they were deciding to sell. Because the great thing about this is nothing leaks out from those firms. It's
I tried.
yeah.
Didn't work.
Right. But
it's funny,
those,
like in the press release, it says send all inquiries to
Yeah.
this person, this email address.
and Declan
And
did.
Declan sent some questions, our
4
resident
questions.
Twins beat podcaster.
Yeah.
And he basically said, no comment on anything.
Yeah.
And
we're not
Go
gonna-
bleep yourself.
One of those questions was, when did the preliminary conversations start with the
Yeah.
Twins when they decided to sell the team?
And these are the type of things that the Jeff Passons don't get. Like, for all due respect to my
scoop,
sports
Jeff.
son Declan,
Yeah.
but like no one gets this stuff.
Get a
So
pa-
I
get
think
a pass it bomb. Dex
Yeah.
bomb coming in.
oh yeah. So I think they've been shopped for quite a while, and I think the sale. I think they're closer to something than we think right now. I don't think it just started last week.
Okay. All right.
Write this down.
The Dexter.
All right, I'll make a Wolves prediction too for opening night. So write this down. The Wolves beat the Lakers on opening night, and Dante hits at least 4 3-pointers. So a Wolves win and a big game from Dante. So Wolves win and Dante with at least 4 3-pointers in the win. Write it down.
That's a borderline home
is
run
the,
right there. Because he averages I think he averages making like 3 a game.
So
This is right on. This is like a Joe Mauer first row in left field at the Metrodome potential home run.
the Wolves
I'm guessing the Wolves are favored in this game, right?
they're 2-point favorites. Okay, actually, let's see.
These are basically 2 coin flips.
God, I love FanDuel. There's no odds on. It's weird. There's no There's a bunch of odds for like 3+ 3-pointers made for prop players. Dante is not one of them. You can't. There's 9 players available here, and Dante is not one of them.
Okay.
But
Well, I think if you wanted to add something, it's for sure a home run. We
that's
could
okay. I'll
confer
I'll
with the
keep
committee.
This. I'll keep this.
All right.
Write this down.
Write this down. I told you guys I'm a little behind watching Starting 5, and Judd, you're going to start sometime here. I watched the first 2 episodes of Starting 5 on Netflix last night. Anthony Edwards is a riot, man. the way they set up the end of the first episode where LeBron's talking about like why he still continues to play, and he basically said, I look around the league and I don't see anyone ready to take my crown, and until I see that, I'm going to keep playing. And then they cut to a blue Lamborghini, garage door opening up, blue Lamborghini pulling out of the driveway, and then Anthony Edwards with a big smile on his face. And then the second episode is kind of following Anthony Edwards, and he's just in a charming, likable way. He has zero respect for the rest of the NBA. I mean, he even said he's walking down the tunnel at Target Center, and he said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically said, I don't look up to anyone in the league right now. Nobody. And then they showed the Boston game. Judd, were we watching that game together at Target Center?
Yeah,
the Boston game?
We were both there, yep.
Where they went to overtime. Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, Dex was in the crowd for that game.
Yeah.
And he locks up Jason Tatum a couple different times, hits a couple dagger mid-range shots, and the Wolves hand the Celtics their first loss. Mm-hmm. And Ant goes into the locker room after the game, and he's trash. He's like, go back to Boston. He's just yelling at these guys. And he gets in the locker room, and he's dabbing up everybody, giving Rudy a high five, and he sits down, and he goes, you see me lock up Tatum? Best player in the league, my ass. And he's clowning Tatum in the locker room. I say all this to say that it just feels like now that this is officially his team, no deferring, he wants to be the guy in this league. He's going to drop 50 points in a game within the first month of the season. He will drop 50 points in a game within the first month of the season.
Sure.
I think he's out for blood this year, and it's going to be super fun to watch. So write that down. All right, back to Sam.
All righty. Dex, you were actually sniffing around my second parlay here a little bit. And it's only 2 legs, so let me know if I need to add something to this for a home run. But write this down. Dante makes his first 3-point attempt, and the Wolves attempt at least 36 3-pointers.
Oh, yeah.
The Lakers, excuse me.
Yep. I think, Dante hitting his first one is less than a coin flip because he's like a last year 40% shooter. And then 36 attempts, that's right around where they were last year, wasn't it? No, it's 32. They average like 32 a game. So this would be like 4 above their average. Yeah, it's a home run. We'll give that to you.
Write this down.
All right, Judd.
I will stay on the Dante DiVincenzo train and say, write this down. Dante will lead Timberwolves players in technical fouls this season.
I mean, Ant racks him up too.
He does.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. Yes, they're definitely candidates here. He is not alone. But I think that the fiery nature of DiVincenzo will help catapult him to the lead among players.
I think the scene that you would have loved the most in the second episode is in the fourth quarter of that Boston game. And I think Cat had foul trouble, if I remember right. And they cut to a scene of Ant and Cat sitting next to each other on the bench. And Ant is like leaned over, looking at Carl. And Carl's like, got the shoulder slumped. And Ant's just grilling him about the fouls. He's like, dude, you got to stop fouling.
I did that in press conferences, though.
And right, but Carl's like, this is a moment in private, basically, right? I mean, he's mic'd up, I guess, and Carl's like, what am I supposed to do? Nothing I can do. And Ant's like, yeah, you can stop fouling.
Yes.
What am I supposed to do? I don't know. Stop leading the league in fouls every year. That you could maybe.
He said, "Stop effing fouling" at the press conference, which was one of my favorite lines of the entire playoffs.
And Cat was terrible in that Celtics win. Like he was a non-factor.
Yes.
Yeah, they would have won by 10 if not for him kind of shipwrecking it, right?
Yeah.
So write this down.
I'll go back to Declan here.
All right, second prediction from me. Let's go with this one. Judd Wallstead has yet to make his Wild debut, right? They keep kind of shuffling him.
He's in Iowa right now, or he's technically on paper been sent down.
Sure.
I don't know where he is right now.
When he makes his first start, write this down. When Wallstead makes his first start with the Wild, he'll get a win, and he'll allow 2 goals or less. Ooh. So I'm willing a team win behind him with a solid performance too. So in his first start this season, because he did make 3 starts last year, in his first start this season, the Wild win, and he'll allow 2 goals or less. Write it down.
Okay.
Love it.
All right. Back to me here.
Down.
Let's go. Dex, are you doing a primetime parlay this week?
I am not.
I think I'll do a primetime parlay. All right. Someone's got to do a primetime parlay.
Yeah, do it. Do it up.
So we're going to go. There's actually 4 primetime games because we have the Thursday game and then a Sunday and 2 Monday games. I'm just going to predict the Sunday and the 2 Monday games in a 3-item parlay. Give me the Jets, and this is winners here. We're not picking spreads. Give me the Jets over the Steelers. Give me the Ravens over the Bucks. And who's got it better than us? Coaching through heart problems. Give me the Chargers over the Cardinals. Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
To get to 4-2. Gonna have to stop his heart from beating before he
the ablation
comes
man,
out of a game.
Needs the because he said he had heart ablations in '99 and like 2008 or something.
Yeah, 2012 it happened.
12, yeah.
About once every 15
He'll
years
be
or
fine.
so, Jim Harbaugh almost dies of a heart attack on the sideline.
It's not a heart attack. I've got the same thing. You just have it done, the procedure done. It's not so bad. Take some pills.
It's not going to keep him off the sidelines for
something will kill us
Chargers,
all.
Cardinals.
That's probably not it, although I can't guarantee it's not it.
Sam, back to you for your third
Write this down.
and final prediction.
All right, you got a little end of season prediction here. It's another 2 legs, so let me know if I need to add. And Phil, I'm taking a page out of your and Kyle's book from 2 years ago. So write this down. Timberwolves will host a first-round playoff series, and the Nuggets will not.
Okay.
I'm really low on the Nuggets. Jamal Murray has not been good basically all year. Olympics, preseason, playoffs. He's been super bad. Wolves will still be awesome. And the Nuggets have just gotten lost so much depth over the past couple of years. Yes. They are a lengthy Jokic injury away from being a play-in team, I think. So.
Agreed. Yeah, and it's kind of as part of it's the CBA. It just makes it hard to retain all your fringe players, but I don't know, maybe they're fat and happy after
Write this down.
Winning their championship.
Hard to keep winning.
Yeah.
Also, the architect of their organization, Tim Connolly, left the year before they won the championship. So it's like they added a couple pieces after he was gone, but yeah, they lost one of the smartest roster builders in the league.
Write this
Good
down.
short-term moves, but long-term, how are they gonna be?
Yeah. So, Sam, great work here. You got 3 home run predictions on the board. Since you've got this life-changing platform right now, is there anyone you'd like to thank that helped you get here today?
Yeah. Gotta start with my girlfriend, Tiff. Before we started seeing each other, she was not at all interested in basketball. And now we just watch games together, go to games. She is very okay with me and my stress levels during playoff runs and everything. So really appreciate her for that. Also, my family. I don't have many friends who follow the NBA nearly as much as I do, but they would ask to come over to watch games with me during the playoff run and everything. So that was super fun. And then really quick, I want to thank you guys. I started following you the summer of 2020, right after the Wolves won the draft lottery, which they subsequently used to grab Ant. And I just needed content, so because I was so excited. And I really appreciate the level of criticism that you bring to our teams, because I'm kind of tired of the Minnesota mediocrity thing. I want them to be held to a higher standard, and there aren't too many outlets that offer professional yet honest criticisms and things like that. Not to mention the therapy. I follow the Twins a little bit. The season was hard, and to have people just express exactly how I felt was pretty therapeutic. So thank you guys very much for your content, and please keep it coming.
Awesome, man. Sam, thanks for the kind words.
Very nice.
We'll get you on again sometime for sure.
Thank you.
See you, Sam. Guest, listener, predictor, Sam.
My listeners are awesome.
I know.
They're always so good, and it's just I'm like back in the old days, and this is not to disparage calls, but you got some good calls, but there would be some where you're like, this is not a good, terrible. Write that downs are great.
I think because you and I mean, your career started in newspaper and mine started in radio, and both of us, we converged doing radio together. The biggest difference between what we're doing now, podcasts, YouTube, social media, is the level of community that you can build and feel. Maybe that sounds corny, but when you, and I love me some old school media. We both came up through the, like I said, Dex came up through radio, but also web. You came up a little more digital than Judd and I did.
Yep.
But in newspaper, for years and years and decades, you write something and you send it off, and you don't really get a feedback loop. It's not really community. In radio, you could take calls, but it's a little more. It's personal compared to other mediums at the time.
Right.
But YouTube and social and podcasting just feels so much more communal, and we have felt that in the last 4 or 5 years. And to be able to sit here like idiots on YouTube and go be face to face with people on Write That Down and Ventline.
I mean, that's the thing is because Write That Down is great, but it's a very small sample size. But Ventline's a huge one, and Ventline's great.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Sam, thank you, man. Appreciate the kind words and the great. You can stick around, by the way, in the green room if you want to. We're not kicking you out because we still have a few more predictions ourselves.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Starting with Judd.
Okay, so I brought up we had a goalie goal in St. Louis last night. As Declan said, it was a power play goal, which is really rare. Philip Gustafsson taking the puck and shooting it down at the ice. And the backstory was during a timeout right before then, Marc-Andre Fleury, who's in his last year, was the backup goaltender, had said, if you get the puck, shoot it. And Gustafsson said, I didn't even really think, because he said, I don't really think about shooting much. But then Flower said that, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? He's right. Marc-Andre Fleury has 2 dreams in his career before he retires. One is that he's always talked about this. He wants to score a goal. The second one almost happened a couple of years ago in St. Louis when the linesman broke up a potential goalie fight with Jordan Binnington, which was on, and they should have let it go because Binnington is despised and Flower is loved, but they didn't. So write this down. Marc-Andre Fleury will either, before the season is done, score a goal or get into a fight. A goalie fight.
Yeah.
Like he wanted.
So it has to be a goalie fight.
It has to be a goalie fight. Okay. Yeah, because it's a goal. The goalie fight. I mean, I'm sure he is not.
Do we ever see goalie versus left wing fights?
No, because players step in so quickly. Like we've seen it start, but then bang, a guy comes in and gets involved. So, but the whole thing is the goalie goal. If you're up by 2 goals or more, it's possible. And Flower has always wanted one, and I think he's going to take and again, he told Gustafsson, take the shot. He's thinking about this stuff. So write that down. Either a goalie fight or a goal before he's done.
Love it. It's a great prediction.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, back to Decky.
Oh, by the way, speaking of that, my wife, when we were talking about the mustache on Purple Daily, write that down, which you guys can go find too, heard me talk about the mustache staying on in the background. She said, I just want to win a Super Bowl before we die, so you can keep the mustache.
Oh wait, so
she's changing.
Is the bet changing?
It's
like if they get eliminated from the playoffs, or is this you keep the mustache until they win a Super Bowl?
Well, yeah, that's also a good point. But I made the pact of I'll keep it until they lose.
Right.
And now she's saying you
sounds
can
like
keep it
she's
on all
saying
season.
Until they're eliminated from the season.
Yeah. So maybe the
it's
mustache
it's like a choice route.
Yeah.
And we were just saying through the party because the burgundy costume is very much in play.
Burgundy could be fun.
Like you've got it.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't take a lot. What a jacket like a plaid jacket of some sort.
Yeah.
But like you've got it.
It's true. Okay.
Okay. Wow. You've got options here now. It's great.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
What a great wife.
Write this down. I'll make a World Series prediction. We'll get a Subway Series. So write this down. The Yankees and Mets will meet in this year's World Series.
All right.
Could be kind of exciting for baseball, right? Is 15 years the longest the Yankees have ever gone without appearing in a World Series?
What did they go before they went in 96, right?
No.
That was...
Well, first of all...
Yeah, 70s to 96.
They went into the toilet in the 60s.
Oh.
They were in the World Series in like 62 against the Giants, and then they didn't appear again until 76.
Right.
And then, then they had the 80s.
62 to 77, so it's 15 years equal to this. And then 70, it went back to back. So 78 to 96, 18 years. No, I'm sorry. They went to the World Series in 81.
Yep. But then they didn't
15,
go again until 96 because I think Mattingly never went to a World Series, which is incredible.
Yeah. This is tied because they actually lost 3 World Series in the mid-'60s and then '76. So this is tied for the longest. Really feel bad for that franchise.
So
They just can't catch a break, those Yankees.
So what was their last World Series of the 60s?
The last one they won was 1962. The last one they appeared in was 1964.
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
And then they went into the tank
in
for
65.
the last part of the 60s.
Okay.
Yeah, really just hoping that they can turn things around there in New York and get back on track for like their 28th World Series or whatever it's going to be.
Start spreading the news.
Okay, final prediction.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
I'm going to double down on Wolves Kool-Aid drinking here. And if they're going to play Bronny, the Lakers aren't serious about the Lakers are looking to put on a spectacle in the first game. I think the Wolves are coming out to show the league what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Wolves will have a 20-point lead or more at some point in that game. Write it down. The Wolves will have a 20-point lead or more in that game.
Write it down. You like writing
In
things
LA.
down.
In their building, in their barn, as Judd says.
Do you think in retrospect that Redick got the job because they decided that he was the best candidate, or did he get the job because he was basically any credible coach said, no, this doesn't really work for me?
Well, I think a couple things. I don't think so. It's widely reported that the Bus family now, like Genie Bus, they don't have the money in the liquid that a lot of other ownership groups have, compared to like Steve Ballmer, who has billions of dollars and he's just.
You seen their new arena?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, isn't it like it's multiple billions of dollars, the arena, right?
Yes.
I mean, they lowballed the Connecticut coach. It's like if you're going to get into a serious conversation, give the guy an offer that he hasn't already seen something close in college. So I don't know that they have the money to go get top coaching options. And I think their first priority was find someone that LeBron can coexist with, because like this is LeBron's franchise, and part of coexisting with LeBron is being okay with him wanting Bronny to play at least a few minutes with him.
That's what
so he
I'm
can
saying.
check off that box.
That's what I'm saying. If you're Hurley and you fly cross country and it's the Lakers' job, right? And he's a smart dude. He probably asked, okay, how far would I have to take this? And Bronny was coming out right at that point in time. Like they knew that this was probably. And they said, well, we're going to draft Bronny. Like, he's going to be on our team. I'd be like, okay, bye.
Yeah, you're
not
unserious. And I mean, and if everyone's transparent and says, yeah, we know that this is kind of unserious, but it would mean a lot historically and to LeBron. Okay, whatever, but you're not serious about putting the best players on the court. If you're going to put him out there for 6 minutes against the Wolves, all right, Wolves are going to take a 20-point lead. So
this feels like something that the old school Donald Sterling Clippers in the 90s would have done.
As like a marketing stunt or
just
something?
As a stunt, yeah.
Yeah.
The Lakers feel like they deserve, like, just the brand, just the logo feels like it deserves more than this. And I don't care if it's
gotten
LeBron James.
oddly sentimental at times. Like, remember when Kobe tore his Achilles? So he was like in his mid-30s, torn Achilles.
Yeah.
And they gave him a $25 million a year contract, like a 2 or 3 year contract.
You're right.
Not because he was going to be good anymore, but because, he's Kobe and we love Kobe. And yeah, Jeannie loves Kobe. And I mean, like, I'm not saying they had to just cut bait on Kobe, but their first priority was, let's take care of Kobe and then we'll worry about if we can win later. And it kind of feels like that's what they're doing. Anyways, not the Wolves' problem. I think they're going to stomp out the Lakers in LA.
Down.
Write it down. So, all right. That's a wrap on this Write That Down session. The only shows in America that actually put statistics next to our predictions. Tomorrow on Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd, a little reckless speculation Thursday and a scoop session with our guy, Doogie. See ya.